why do you think dating is a horror show right now? Rory, you're our first guest ever.
No.
Woo! Yeah.
Pop that cherry. That's very exciting.
What do you think has gone wrong, and why is it so hard for women nowadays to find men?
Confirmation bias, your brain will go into overdrive to try and prove your belief system right. You know, women were taught to be chosen. They weren't taught how to choose.
Have never really been single, but always dated the literal bottom of the barrel. Like
Can't wait to dive into why.
Yeah, I was like a little worried. I was like, am I the crazy one?
So I go to the tagged photos to do my nightly, love you, boo.
Yeah.
And tell me why my man has his arms around a brunette with 13 hearts as the caption.
Oi.
That's how I found out I was cheating on. What?
Hi. Hello, gorgeous over there.
Okay, guys, so very excitedly, we have arrived at the next level of Big Questions.
It's a very exciting day.
Rory, you're our first guest ever.
No.
Woo!
Yeah.
Ooh,
We have them lined
it's
up,
spicy.
but we were like, who do we want to inaugurate this?
Yeah.
Pop that cherry. That's very exciting.
You popping our cherry too is like the most exciting on-brand cherry pop I could ever think of.
Yeah, there's definitely reasons
For me
why we
too.
chose.
Yeah,
thank you.
For me too.
But yeah, welcome to Big Questions, Small Talks.
Thanks.
So today, everybody, we have Rory in the studio.
That's me.
Rory just released a book and she's going to tell you all about it. But let's kind of go back to basics. And, you know, we obviously met from mutual friend who then introduced me to your podcast, Crimes of the Heart.
Yeah.
And I fucking love the podcast.
Thanks.
As a gay woman who is married, I am there.
Wait, I know. Always threw me. I was like, really? Cool.
Yeah, I'm listening to those straight women cry about men, and I'm like, I get you, sister. Also, I already have to listen to Devon enough about that.
So you're just like getting it from both
Yes.
sides. Yeah.
But tell us, how did you go from, you know, doing this amazing podcast, obviously your whole career previous to that, to now writing a book?
Ooh, that's such a great question. I knew I wanted to write a book before I did the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
So the podcast was because I knew I would write the book.
Yeah.
And you're like prepping 6 years earlier.
Basically. I also didn't know it was going to take 6 years. So there's that. But yeah, like I always think the best way to become a part of a community is to contribute to it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to kind of join this space, like, and I had done that, like all of the work that I've made, like the TV shows that I've sold or things that I've created do have an element that's about relationships. So I've always been fascinated by that. Like I've always wanted to talk about love, the pursuit of love, the loss of love, relationships, like what makes them work, what makes them fall apart, sex, like all of the taboo nature around sex, like the stigmas involved. So those are things that fascinate me because it's weird that we have this kind of area of our lives that we're all expected to excel in. And if we don't, we don't feel like we're whole people, but like zero skills. We're given zero skills.
No one teaches anything.
No.
And then everyone's like giving each other advice based off of like nothing, and it just continues to spiral.
1,000%.
The blind leading the blind.
And also the flip side is that, you know, I had a conversation with somebody the other day that was like, well, I wouldn't hire a fat trainer. So why would I ever take advice from somebody who's single? And I was like, first off, I feel like there's so many things that are wrong with that statement.
That is so
okay. So let's unpack that. And I was like, well, I think it's just interesting, like who we deem to be experts. Mm-hmm. You know, I have a friend that is one of the longest running love advice columnists in the country.
Wow.
And she was single for like 9 years.
Yeah.
In fact, I did threaten her to get on dating apps, and that's how she met her boyfriend. So what I'm trying to say is, it was me. No, but she's still regarded as one of the leading voices and an expert, and she gives great advice. And when I asked her, like, why are you so good at giving advice? She was like, well, if you let people talk long enough, they will tell you the answer, and then you repeat it back to them, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And as someone who has been in, so just to give you some context, I've been in relationships since I was 18, like back to back. I am a serial monogamer. Is that the term?
Sure.
And I actually said to my wife the other day, there is this huge irony of where I am in my life right now, where I finally realized like fulfillment of what it is to feel whole. And it's just weird that the timing that's happened that I'm in a relationship, but I don't think that has happened because of the relationship. Like it has happened just from like solo work to the point where I say to her, like, you know, if you and I were to break up or divorce, I'd be fine. And it's the first time in my life. I mean, obviously, like, I'd be very upset.
Yeah.
But I'd be
But it
fine.
wouldn't undo you to the
No.
point that you couldn't get
Right.
your life on track.
Whereas every other partner I've had, I was like, well, there's no way I can be single. Like,
if this
what
ends,
the
I'll
fuck?
die.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, to your point about these single people being kind of like these experts, I fucking get it. Like, I think there is no one smarter than a single woman.
Well, yeah, because you've also lived it. I think, like, for me, just like my 2 cents is sometimes I have never really been single, but always dated the literal bottom of the barrel. And I think, like,
Can't wait
when
to dive into why.
Yeah, and I think when I've gotten advice in the past from friends who have been in a relationship since they're 20, it's like, okay, also, like, I can't, like, take this because, like, you're not actually in the dating world. Like, you met your boyfriend in college and then had babies right away, and, like, you've been married for 10 years.
I think of it like if I won the lottery, I wouldn't start coaching people on how to win the lottery.
Yeah.
So I don't. The whole concept of like that the experts in love, dating, relationships is kind of wild to me. And like, yes, there are therapists. There are definitely people who are credentialed. Not a lot of them specialize specifically in, love, dating, relationships. They'll tend to focus on like a vertical where it's like they specialize in trauma response or ADHD or whatever it is. And then they come on my show and I talk to them. But I do think that is something that is just interesting. Like, what does make someone an expert and why do we listen to certain people and who has the authority to give advice in that space? And I mean, I've kind of been through all of it. I'm unmarried. And we'll see if that ever changes. But
I also do feel with this whole like taking advice thing and people being experts or not experts, it's like we take so much responsibility away from the consumer of that advice, right? So we always blame the person giving it, like, oh, they're an expert, they're not an expert. Like, and it's like, well, if you are listening to something, you have your responsibility to either take that and know who it's coming from and do your research and either take it or not. But I think we are so quick to just put all the power onto the people like writing books or making podcasts and dehumanizing the person on the other end, being like, they're just victims and they're just it's like, I'm so tired of all that. Like, I'm like, I love people's advice, whether they have a PhD in that or not, I think anyone who's been through something or has an interest in something is qualified.
Has something to offer. Yeah,
yes,
I also would agree. And I think I trust my own filtering system.
Yes.
Where I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to let that go, or like I'm going to listen to that.
Right. Yeah.
But it wasn't, I don't even know how we got on that topic or what you said that made me think of that. But it is a very interesting thing. And now having written a book, like in my bio, I say I'm an accidental dating anthropologist because I've like truly lived through so much. And then I've now had the benefit of interviewing hundreds of experts and strangers and people with crazy stories. So I have a really interesting perspective on it all. And I think one thing that I want to do is empower people to be able to not rely on other people, to rely on themselves.
Yeah.
My wife's like that. She's a bit older. She's 53. And it just like baffles her that people like ask other people for advice. She's like, why don't they just trust their higher power? I'm like, where the fuck is my higher power?
Yeah. There's also coping, though.
Wait, where do we find that, though? Where do we
Yeah,
find
like,
that?
where did you get yours? So maybe that
funny.
comes with like age and wisdom.
I think a little bit. And I also think, for me, I have also had the benefit, and when I say benefit, I say that with sarcasm, of seeing how scammy this side of things can get.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty predatory that there's so many coaches and experts and matchmakers that take advantage of people at their absolute most vulnerable.
I love that you said that because I won't put the book on blast, but I read this book recently because I love self-help and like advice books. And so I was on like a trip to Japan with my boyfriend. And so I was reading the book and I kept reading these passages that were like very like anti-men. But like the perspective was just like an example is if men watch porn because like they want to degrade women. And so like I was showing him these passages and he was like, I'm just so upset because you're reading this in a good place in your life, but But to your point, he was like, if you were reading this when you were going through a really hard time, like when I went through my really hard breakup, he's like, you might read that and all of a sudden any man you ever date again who watches porn, you might never give him a chance. And so I just love that you said that, because I do think it's so hard with like information overload to trust the right people and get like actual tangible advice.
Yeah, that is upsetting. I want to offline about that book after. I have a chapter in my book called Spells, and I say words are like spells, so you have to cast them wisely. I think the danger of making broad statements like that, or just, you know, if you're speaking to straight women or bisexual women who date men and then you condemn men as like a whole, or like treat them as a monolith, I think that that's doing such a disservice to not only men but also women, because if you believe all the good ones are taken, that is what the world will show you.
Yeah.
Like confirmation bias, your brain will go into overdrive to try and prove your belief system right. So if there's an author that's like trying to indoctrinate women into thinking that all men are evil, or that like the good ones are gone, or that, you know, first off, we all have the internet. We can see that there is a gender divide. Like, you don't have to be, you just have to have a pulse to kind of to read of the room. And it's going to require people to, in one hand, see like what is happening and still also have hope. And it's really brave and bold and rebellious to have hope in the face of what feels bleak. So to contribute to people losing hope, I think is really terrible and shitty.
Yeah.
Because also what you're doing is giving them a belief that will actually change the way they see the world, actually change the way that they date.
So to that point about hope and about being positive about finding men if you're straight and want a man.
Let's just assume
that
we're talking about this, it's for
yes.
Yeah. But also I think it works for gay women. I mean, like, it's not to say that
I was telling Devon, I was like, we just did an episode on, you know, dating freaks and people that are like just so toxic and stuff, and I'm like, women can be the fucking worst too. Everyone out there is, but let's kind of talk about men for a second. So why do you think dating is a horror show right now? And to that point, why do you think there is a crisis of masculinity, and does masculinity play into dating? And like what do you think has gone wrong, and why is it so hard for women nowadays to find men?
I think it's multi-layered, and that's why it's hard to talk about, because people will make a 15 to 20 second clip that goes viral that only talks about one point.
Yeah.
Right? I do think porn has contributed to this, but I think it's one small sliver. I also think the commodification of dating apps. You know, dating apps were not designed to help you find love. Sean Rad did an article or an interview with Time Magazine when Tinder first came out and said people will get so addicted to playing the game that they won't even care that they're not like actually finding love.
Yeah.
And then these apps realized, oh, actually people do want to use them to find love. So they just changed the branding, but they didn't change the algorithms. And the algorithms are based on slot machines. So it's like intermittent reinforcement that actually gets you addicted. They were designed to change human behavior. They weren't designed to help you fall in love. So if you've found a partner with a dating app, that's incredible, but you are kind of like the anomaly, not the rule. So I think that's huge, because people's dependence on dating apps has only grown. But we know that like something like less than 30% of people meet their partners on dating apps, and I think something like 70% of people use them. So like there's a huge disparity there.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And then I think, you know, the other thing is the patriarchy, and like that freaks a lot of people out when I say that, because it sounds like I'm like gonna burn my bra. But,
yeah.
But you know, American women have had bodily and financial autonomy for 50 years. I think millennial women are the final girls of love and dating, in that we are the products of freedom. Not that long ago, women had to, you know, they were getting a washing machine at Sears, and the clerk is like calling to make sure that charge on that credit card can go through.
It's so wild.
But that's a real thing. And like somebody listening might be like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's crazy. No, that's real. Go on Reddit. Just a light little cursory Google.
Right.
These are real stories. You couldn't get birth control unless you were married. My mom was denied birth control because she was unmarried. And so I think what has happened is that, like, you know, women were taught to be chosen. They weren't taught how to choose. I think a lot of our struggles and the horrors come from the pursuit of being chosen. We'll circle back to that. But I think a lot of the issues are that women needed to be married. We no longer need to be married. We want to be married. We want to find partnership, but that need has changed. And so I think a lot of women have woken up to the fact that they no longer want to settle in order to settle down.
Yeah.
And that has created a massive rift because you now have millions of women who are saying, no, I'm not going to put up with certain things that maybe previous generations put up with. I'm not going to twist myself into a pretzel to try and like just be chosen.
Right. That's why, like, for me personally, I'm bisexual and
What?
gay.
She said it, not me. We didn't say it. She said
Cancel
it.
me, okay? And I often do think and wonder how my preference and choice to be with a woman is truly a choice for me. Like, I could go out and fall in love with a man, no doubt. I like men. I could fall in love with one. Do I want to put my energy on finding a man versus finding a woman? No. Like, I'd rather find a woman, which I did. Because I prefer the relationship with a woman. I think that I'm lucky in that I can have that emotional sensibility of being on the same wavelength. And although it's hard, like, just like it is with men, like...
Oh, but choose your hard.
Yeah.
Everything
Choose
is
your
hard.
hard.
This idea that like there's a relationship that isn't hard is crazy because life is hard.
Right.
And it's hard in your body, and now you have another person with their own hard, and you're trying to
merging lives
that,
is
yeah.
like so unnatural, right? Like the idea
Totally.
of merging your life with someone is so unnatural.
Yes. So I just
So all that to say is just like, I think nowadays there is a real crisis with men, masculinity, and I know amazing men. Like, my dad is the most amazing guy. So I know that, like, it can happen. I know that, like, they're out there.
I have a ton of amazing men in my life that are yes, my father, the best. But also my guy friends, you know, that I'm not attracted to or have never dated or whatever. So I know that they exist.
Okay, so to your point, they exist. You draw on a lot of personal sort of anecdotes for the book. How has your sort of journey in dating inspired everything? And like, I'd love to hear maybe like your worst dating story or like just kind of the you know, the mix of experiences that shaped all of this.
Well, the book starts with me saying final girls are not born, they're made. And the opening chapter is how I thought I was going to get married. And I'm, I think, 25 at the time, and I had been with this person for a couple years, like I think close to 3. You know, he was a senior when I was a freshman. And I had a conversation with my dad about the fact that this is so weird. Like, I'm driving to a big family event with him that he has made my parents come to. Like, it was like an important thing. He's like a part of our family. I feel like I'm a part of his family. We have tickets to go to Africa together, like 8 months from then. We go to this event. I'm telling my dad, like, it's so crazy. I never thought I would like get married young. Like, and I think that's because my mom didn't. I was like, I just thought I would be like someone who collects like wild dating stories. Like, I just saw, and I've always been curious, and I've always wanted to kind of taste the rainbow. Take that however you will.
Love.
Like all of the flavors, all of
like
the
that.
things, all of the experiences, because I'm curious and I'm a writer, and I think that's just part of it.
Yeah.
And that's just a curiosity. I'm also a Sagittarius. Curiosity is like a huge part of my personality. But I was like, you know what? I love him so much, and I would never trade what I have with this person for that. Like, I'm willing to give that up.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. This motherfucker dumps me over the phone.
Just like,
And then really kind of never speaks to me again.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment that I really felt the heartbreak that does feel like you might die. Like, I did actually feel like physical pain.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was like bleeding out. And I had this choice, like, this is either going to like ruin me and define me, or I'm going to move through it. And I decided I'm going to move through it. And then a month or so later, on accident, I discovered, and it is an accident. Like, I fully admit when I'm snooping or being crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
This one was a true accident. That he's like already living with his new girlfriend.
So it's diabolical.
And that was the birth of what I refer to as like my inner demons. That voice in my head that was like, well, he wouldn't have been able to leave you if you had been better.
Yeah.
Like, you're replaceable.
Right.
You have to be irreplaceable unless you don't want to be replaced.
Yeah, to like keep them.
Which is like such a insidious, scary lie that I told myself that a lot of women and maybe men also identify with. You know, for some people it's I'm too much. For some people it's I'm not enough. I was the I'm not enough. And that follows me throughout the book. I get cheated on 3 times in it. It really does come very full circle. I go through some pretty gnarly experiences.
Yeah.
And some very funny ones because the book is comedic. I mean, it sounds like it's not, but it's told with levity and humor because if you don't laugh, you will cry. And I think for me, it was realizing like, oh, the worst monster I've ever been with is me.
Wow, that's deep.
It is. It's like no one
It's
has
super deep.
No one's ever hurt me like I've hurt me.
Yeah.
I've like compromised my boundaries. I've settled in ways. I've like gaslit myself to stay in things.
Right.
I've minimized things that I've been through. I'm the one that put me in these situations. And also the way that I spoke to myself, I would never, ever let anyone speak to my sister the way that I've spoken to myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'd punch you in the teeth. I'd knock your teeth out.
Yeah.
Like if anybody, but so I was living with like a inner monologue that was so toxic and shitty and I tolerated it. And so I really needed to like knock that off and then take a true forensic look and take accountability, which is not blame. It's not self-blame. And just kind of go, what patterns was I repeating? Like what red flags do I ignore?
Right.
Why do I make excuses for people? And really kind of look at that. And that's really what the book is about.
I am dying to ask you based off of something you said.
Okay.
Like when you found out that your ex is living with a new girl, like a month later, I think something I've struggled with a lot because I have obsessive personality is like hyperfixation on the other woman.
Oh.
And so like when
I have a whole chapter about that.
Yeah, I would just like love your POV because I have like literally changed my brain chemistry from addiction to stalking like the new girl. And it like becomes almost like a comfort stalk where it's like I just have to know even if I've moved on. And so that's something like through therapy I've like totally been able to like let go. And it's like I literally had a Finsta. It's like what the fuck am I doing? Like I need to get a life.
Finsta.
But like I love to
But
just
I use
know,
that more for brands.
Yeah. Now I use my Finsta for work. But like, and I like have boundaries with myself where like I do not allow it. But I'd love to just like know like how your journey with that has been.
Wow. Let me take one sip of coffee. Pretend this is whiskey.
Keep your enemies close. Was it friends close and your enemies closer?
Yeah.
She's got them lined up at home.
My chapter called Witches is exclusively about this. So it is wild that you bring that up. You were groomed for that. If you think about it, like we were taught that women can steal our man. First off, you can't steal something that goes willingly. And if you can steal my man, he's not my man. That I live by. I did not used to live by that.
Yeah.
But we've been constantly taught to compare ourselves to other women, and we've been constantly primed to believe like we don't measure up and we're not good enough. So it makes a lot of sense. And then when you combine that with the other woman, now maybe it wasn't a cheating scenario, but maybe it is. You know, I was told that femme fatales can get government secrets out of men, that sirens can drown pirate ships, and that like elusive, alluring, sexy women can get men to do anything, can steal your man.
Everything we're not.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
But think about that. It's so crazy that like we just don't hold them accountable for their like men aren't being held accountable for their weakness or their bad behavior because a woman is seemingly seen as like so powerful, so alluring, so conniving.
Yeah.
It's just insane. It's like also if we are, then why don't we run shit? Give us the keys.
Right.
Yeah. Like
Preach.
Correct.
I feel like so the math isn't mathing here.
Yeah.
I think for you, not to go like too deep into it, but I would just be like, what broken part of you needs to be soothed by this other woman?
Yeah.
You know, like,
That's
are
so
you
cute.
waiting to see her fail so that it makes you feel,
feel
better?
better.
Are you constantly comparing? And like, what piece of you is doing that? Because there is a part of you, there's a story that links back to something in a moment in your life or moments in your life. And for me, like, I had to go back to that. You know, that's not really what happened with this. Like, I met the other woman and I became friends with the other woman.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Which is crazy, but
yeah. Iconic though.
I have like a. Actually, it's not a similar story because the other woman. So I went on a date with. Okay, to preface, I haven't been on many dates. So like,
I'm gathering that because you were like, I was in back-to-back
I'm here
relationships.
like, but there was one date I went on. It was like in a very small gap between partners, like a couple of days between partners. There was a date I went.
Spoken like a true lesbian.
Well, so I went on this date. This girl lives in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
I'm sure she's watching. I'm gonna send her this. I drove from Newport Beach to fucking Santa Barbara for this girl that we had been talking. Everything was great. I thought she was really hot. And
that was the 3-hour drive.
yeah, literally.
I thought she was really hot.
Had
so
the
I made
best
the
day
3-hour drive.
ever. Like best day ever. Like we're on the beach, we're talking all night. And I go to kiss her. And then like she doesn't kiss me because she says she's like kind of seeing someone else and she doesn't want to ruin it for them. So I'm already like,
Wait, what?
bitch, why are you here?
Yeah.
So I'm all pissy because I'm like, I've driven from Newport Beach.
I think it's crazy, not to interrupt, but I just did that. I think it's crazy to think that a kiss is somehow worth more than the hours and emotional investment
Correct.
you just made on
Yes,
a date.
of leading
that
the
is
person
wild
on.
to me. That's wild
Yes.
to me.
I was
Agreed.
like, it was like around COVID. So I was like,
honestly,
really?
Thank you
Not
though
to
for
be
saying
like
that.
so poly about it, but I'm
Yes.
like, sorry,
Yes.
what? Like, you think this physical act that takes 2
gonna be the
seconds
ruin
is
it.
somehow
Right.
the thing
Yeah.
that will cause guilt.
And like
cause-
looking
yeah.
at the stars that
not
we
the
had just
hours
done.
and the
Yes.
yeah, like what?
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, so she doesn't kiss me and I'm like, look, I drove all this way. We could have just kissed, you know, like that would have been fun. Especially like during COVID, everyone's depleted of like physical touch.
Ugh.
Like I just want to kiss.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it doesn't work out. Then I'm all like, okay, fine, I don't want you. And we become like the bestest of friends. So like nowadays, we're literally like best friends.
Homies, yeah.
We're homies.
That's amazing.
And we joke about that day, and like now I think she kind of wishes she had kissed me because I'm like God's gift. But
Amen.
but it is
Preach.
also funny how because of women who they are by nature, we have this like maturity and just kind of like, I hate to say it, but emotional superiority that we can just be
Well,
like.
that is actually that's been studied. I
Right.
mean, women's brains are a
So
little
we're like,
bit different.
okay,
than a
that
men's
didn't work,
brain.
but let's be friends. And like to your point about the other women, it's like women are just so great that you're like, well, fuck this situation, but let's be friends because you're amazing, you know?
Totally. Well, I became obsessed with her, and she didn't really know that I existed. And my obsession, you know, I found out I was being cheated on because I dated this ugly guy. And when you date an ugly man, there's only a select
Yes.
amount of photos that he looks good in. And
Yes.
mine was in the tag
Correct.
on
I'm thinking of
Instagram.
her exes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would do like
also,
a nightly
the ugly ones
sweep.
always cheat too. I always tell my friends, it's like, I used to only date hot guys. Sorry to interrupt, but like, I would
No.
only date hot guys. Then they cheat. So then I'm like, I'll date an ugly kind of fat guy because then he won't cheat. But then he cheated more. And I'm like, huh.
With hookers.
Yeah. Okay,
it's
but keep
a lot
going.
less embarrassing to get cheated on by Captain America than Shrek. And that is the takeaway. If you take away one thing,
Yes.
it's Captain America, at least you
Please.
can be like,
Save the day.
yeah, he cheated on me, and everybody's like, I kind of get it.
Yes.
But when you're like, Shrek cheated on me, everybody's like, oh, what
You're
They're like,
damn.
whoa.
happened there?
Yeah.
And then you have the dual betrayal of him, but then you, because you
Yes.
lowered your standards in the first place. So
Yes.
what you're really upset about is that you lowered your standards and then got done dirty.
Yeah.
Have you seen it on TikTok? They're literally, like Gen Z are literally calling that like Shrekking now.
I know, which is so crazy
That's
because
so
I wrote
funny.
about this years ago.
You're like, bitch, I coined
Wait,
this.
I want
know,
to
weirdly.
hear. So you go to the tagged.
So I go to the tagged photos to do my nightly like, love you, boo.
Yeah.
And tell me why my man has his arms around a brunette with 13 hearts as the caption.
Oi.
That's how I found out I was being cheated on. What?
on Facebook.
I was
would
like,
be
bitch,
sick.
I was trying to go to sleep, and now my cortisol is at 1,000
Yes.
out of 10. And that was when I was like, whoop, like, put my glasses on, got to go a little Elle Woods on her. Was like, trying to figure out everything about her, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ooh, unfortunately, she's not only pretty, she is smart, and she is cool, and she has cool friends and a cool life. And like, if I didn't fucking hate her and want her to die right now, I want to like be friends with her. And that's how the stalking started.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, what does this witch have? Like, what kind of spell did she put on my man to make him do me dirty like this? Just, toxic mind virus. But whatever. We all learn. We all learn at different times and in different ways. And I truly became so obsessed with her. I was obsessed for like maybe 5 months. Like, not cool.
Yeah.
You can be obsessed for a couple weeks, but then you got to drop that. And
Totally.
nobody knew, and I was constantly checking. And it really came to a head when she and Waldo, I call him Waldo, that's not his real name, but he looked like a sad version of Where's Waldo? So that's why he's called Waldo.
We're both like,
Yes, I know. So dark. They were like gonna move to LA, and I lost my shit.
Yeah.
And that was the moment that I was like, okay, I need an exorcism. Like, I have to like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, it's been too long. Why are you so upset? Why can't you let this go? And what I realized was I was like, I'm afraid she's gonna like come to LA and like take my life and my friends, just kind of like how she took my boyfriend. And once I said it out loud, I was like, that's very embarrassing. I can't believe you admitted that.
The thing though is like those thoughts are so real because I think it's really relatable. And like I know, like for me, I make up all the shit in my head, but like so do all of my friends. And then when you say it out loud, you're like, okay, this is embarrassing. But I think the like vulnerability of it to even like say it out loud and be like, what the fuck, like is a journey in itself.
Totally. And then I wrote them letters. I released them with love. I really meant it.
You wrote them letters.
I wrote them letters, burned them, released them with love. Like, no.
Yes, I was like, that?
No.
Like, hi guys.
What's up, babes? No.
Just checking in.
Could you imagine?
That is so funny.
No, thank you for clarifying that. Yes. I like wrote them letters, burned them, released them with love, cut the cord. Like, it was like a spiritual thing. And then less than 24 hours later, I get a notification she's following me on Twitter.
Wow.
And then I follow her back, and before like as I hit the follow back, I get like a call on my phone.
Whoa.
And it's from the city that I know she's from. Because,
whoa.
Again, I know everything about her. And it was her.
Wow.
And she had just found out about me. And it was
so crazy.
I was like, whoa.
Something
spooky, witchy timing.
Yeah, it is very witchy. Something that like is similar that happened to me with my cheating ex is like I was like the main and then there were two other girls. And so like first it was the one girl, then I came in, then she like got punted to the side and then I was that like next one. But you know, they say it's like how you get them is how you lose them.
Yes.
So then there was the third girl. So then when I exited this relationship and was just like did my healing and moved on, that third girl, the friend had reached out to me. And she was like, you know, she's having a really hard time. The same thing that happened to you happened to her. Is there any way like you could give us advice and like help?
Leave.
And I just was like in such a place. This was like a few months ago that I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I'm a girl's girl. And like I ride for girls. But also I'm like, you knew he had a girlfriend. You knowingly did this and now you want me to help you. And I just was like, she needs to get a trauma therapist, not my problem. And I talked to a lot of friends about it and they were just like, for you, for your mental health, it's not safe for you to like open up this wound to talk about it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like you need to protect your peace a little.
Yeah.
But you want to be a girl's girl at that. Like when Devon told me this, I was like, I want you to help this girl, but I also get that like by you helping, you're opening your Pandora's box of hurt.
Look,
like,
this is not it's not your responsibility.
Right.
It's not your job. And I do think your well-being it's like protect your peace is the best advice, because ultimately, you know, while I don't think you should harbor any kind of ill will towards her, because that just lives inside of your body. Like when you hold on to hate for other people, it lives in you.
The body
they
keeps the
feel they
score.
don't feel the hate, only you do.
Yeah.
So I'm really big on like that, and I do
Mm-hmm.
think we demonize the other woman more so than we demonize the man. And
Totally.
that's a hill I'll die
100%.
on. Like
Yeah.
So, however, knowingly going for someone else's partner or kind of justifying it is like a real character flaw,
Mhm.
and that's gonna be her journey. Like you can't hold her hand through that because
Yeah.
you didn't do that. So also it's not like you were somebody that was like, it sounds like you came in, or maybe you did know. When that first woman was there and you became like the second that became the first, did you know that?
I thought, like, I had no idea.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So your
Yeah.
journey isn't like hers in that
Right.
you started dating a man that you thought was single, and then you thought you were in an exclusive relationship. She started dating a man that she thought was partnered, and she was okay with. They're not the same.
Right.
What are, just to kind of pivot a little bit, we're talking a lot about relationships here, but as it relates to courtship and dating, what are the biggest red flags you see nowadays?
Oh,
Such a good question.
Rushing in. I think speed is huge. I think that there is this myth that has been perpetuated by kind of love stories and rom-coms that like when you know, and it's really easy to know on the first, second, or third
When
date.
you're so in love with them in the
Right.
first week.
When-
Yeah,
and
you're
it's
like, you're the one.
But trust is built brick by brick over time. Friendships are built that way too. And if you look at your friendships, it's like, yeah, you might have known the second you met that person that you vibe with them, that you
I
liked
hated
them.
Devon when I met her.
No, you didn't. Hate is a strong word.
I didn't hate
What if
Devon.
You
I
thought I
like-
was a brown noser.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too.
I didn't hate Devon, okay? I just thought we weren't going to be friends. And look at us now. We've got a podcast.
But okay, yeah. Just, I mean, little different, but I mean, that's like,
You're like, oh my God.
that's like enemies to lovers. That's definitely a genre of the romance
We
world.
definitely weren't enemies. I was just a little like, who's that girl?
Right. But it takes time to be able
Yeah.
to like get to
Yeah,
know
yeah.
someone's true character and also how they react in situations and to see alignment. And I think when people rush into things, it's just a reflection of kind of desperation and wanting to secure something. And it's like, well, if you're going to be together forever, what's the rush?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, do you feel the same about like the TikTok names for all these things, like love bombing and
Well, love bombing by definition it's being used wrong. I think that love bombing is like a tactic that is used by manipulative, narcissistic, like clinical personality types as a way to then be able to manipulate you.
Okay, so I'm so happy you brought that up, and I wanted to see what you'd say, because I am someone who, like, one of my love languages to give is gift giving. So like when I meet someone and I like them, I'm very giving, and I like doing that because I like to please people. And then when this whole love bombing thing started, I was like,
People were like,
I'm a narcissist. Like, I'm clinically mental. I've been doing this to people.
Yeah, but your intent isn't to lead them on.
And I'm not manipulating them. Like, I don't want anything in return. Like, I give them gifts of like, look, I wanted to please you today, and maybe I'm doing it in a way of like, you can't get this from someone else.
Right.
There is nothing I want in return, right?
Right.
And like, because like that is one of my like love languages, is like gift giving. Like, I just love to give.
That's not
Love bombing.
love bombing.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because I once, like, you know,
Do you feel better now?
Yes, a little. Because once the discourse
I love
came
that
out,
the married woman is like, God forbid somebody thinks I'm a love
like
bomber.
5 years later, I give my wife a gift. I'm like, I'm love bombing.
No.
Yeah, I was like a little worried. I was like, fuck, am I the crazy one? But maybe not.
Yeah.
And then you got like all the breadcrumbing and all that. I know
That's
all
real.
the terms.
Yeah. I mean, breadcrumbing is real, but ultimately, like, you have to be breadcrumbed in order to, like, for that to work. And if you are ruthless with your standards, and that doesn't mean ruthless with your words or your actions, it's just, you know that you want a certain type of treatment or a certain type of love or a certain type of relationship, then that's not going to work.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
It just doesn't. Like, that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like when you are so clear and you know your worth and you feel comfortable releasing things that don't align with that, then it's a lot harder for people to hurt you and take advantage of you. Yeah, you can be lonely, But also, I like to say never shop hungry.
Oh,
Not because-
That's a great
look at
point.
us being,
Yeah.
like, taking notes.
Yeah.
Although I'm married and fine, I'm like still
It's
taking
so
notes.
true though.
Not because I believe that you have to have self-love in order to be loved. I think that that's shitty, and that can lead people to feeling like if they don't have love, it's their fault and that they just need to love themselves more. I don't think it's that. I think when you feel very fulfilled with your life, you don't have insecurities about your body, you are happy with your job, you feel financially stable, all of these things, it is so much harder for someone to get you to settle for less.
I love that.
That's the mic
you're not-
drop, to be honest. Yeah.
You're not going to live off of breadcrumbs if you have a meal back home.
It's like love yourself and make them fall in love with the afterflow,
I think that
overflow.
most
Yeah.
people in your life should be additive.
Yes.
Like, and if you look at your platonic relationships, we navigate those in a way that I think most people should navigate their
Yeah.
intimate
so
relationships.
wise.
You are.
Like, can we stay here for 10
I know.
hours?
I just
Wow.
like, think about it. Like if you guys text each other and you fall off because who knows what the fuck you were doing,
Right.
you're not going to freak out and spiral or think that she hates you.
Yeah. I've gotten better though.
gotten better.
Yeah,
Okay.
my attachment's gotten a lot better.
Well, that's great
Yeah.
because,
I love
Yeah.
healed people heal people.
Right.
Um,
True.
But I think most people wouldn't
Yeah.
do that. Like, I certainly wouldn't. If my best friend doesn't, I'll just double text her. Yo,
Right.
bitch, what is up?
Yeah.
Or
Such a
whatever.
good tip.
So
Yeah.
why is it that, like, when you're dating someone,
Yeah.
you do that?
Yeah. Okay, so just to finish off, what is the one thing that you hope when people read your book they take away, or like what do you hope they now think about dating?
I hope that people feel hopeful about love and feel more confident going through the horrors of dating. Because ultimately, like, if you feel confident and strong in yourself that you can survive anything, then a lot of this becomes more exciting and less scary.
Amazing. And where can they get your book?
Anywhere you buy books online.
Amazing.
Honestly, like I feel so inspired by talking
I
to
love
you.
that you have a boyfriend
No,
and you're
I
married
do
and you're
though.
like,
Taking
let's read this
notes.
dating book.
No, honestly though, like I think everything that we talked about resonates so deeply with what I think women are going through right now, and so many friends that I have that are just like, I have such a good girlfriend who's so amazing, and she is in like the pits of despair, and she
Let's
is
send
just
her
like
one.
texting
Give me her address.
being
Give me her
like,
address.
I need help. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to die alone. And I'm like,
my
girl,
God.
if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, if I can do
So-
it, anyone can do it, truly.
Just like
Yeah.
hearing you talk, like I feel so energized, and like I just think you're so wonderful, and I have a crush on you.
Yes. Also, everyone should check out your podcast. Where
Yes.
can they hear that?
Seriously.
It's so funny. I love it. Again, you bring all that wisdom onto it. Crimes of the heart.
Yeah.
It's all about self-love.
Self-love.
Seriously.
Love yourself first. Bitches.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks,
guys.
Rory.
So
Love
much.
you.
Yay.
Bye.